Get over here! Oh, I feel so cool! My fellow humans, I bid you welcome. I know my angelic appearance and calm behavior radiate peace and serenity, but I really enjoy a fair bit of excessive and senseless violence. Blood fountains, people ripped in half, the sweet smell of burnt flesh. It reminds me of so many childhood memories. But as you can tell from the stuff I built a while back, I also really like video games and stupidly impractical weapons. And there's one franchise that puts together all these things in the most chaotic and gruesome way. Say it with me. It's actually embarrassing how much I suck at fighting games, but one thing I am good at is hyper-fixating on terrible ideas. So look at this badass undead warrior ninja demon thing cutting a person in half with a flaming chain. Ooh, just how I like it. But that's not all. No, the coolest thing about Scorpion's chain is that it can be lodged into the enemy's chest and then used as a grappling hook to pull him towards his inevitable demise or to disembowel his corpse. Isn't that a cool toy? I want one for myself! I bet $5 I will end this video with at least a couple of band-aids on my face. But come on, it's for science! And who needs eyeballs anyway? Back on track! Before becoming a full-time villain, I spent enough years of my life researching obscure weapons from history to recognize immediately that Scorpion's chosen weapon is inspired by the Chinese Shen Biao. I just butchered the most spoken language on earth. Nice! I barely speak my own mother tongue, so I have no freaking clue how to pronounce this correctly. But if you do, please help me out in the comments. Anyway, the rope dart is a weighted spike at the end of a long, flexible rope that is used with incredibly fancy and acrobatic maneuvers in a sort of dance made of bruises and death. But if you think you will see me do this stuff, yeah, keep dreaming. I mean, I tried, but you will never see the footage because 90% of it was a complete disaster. Spinning and twirling are not recommended when you have the grace of an overweight walrus, so let's keep it simple and aim for brutal efficiency. I want a piece of steel attached to a rope that I can use to make faraway stuff less far away. Simple as that. Said the one who spent the last 4 weeks making prototypes that failed miserably. No, seriously, I failed so many times at such a simple task that I just wanna, I don't know, lay down and cry until the sweet release of death is delivered onto this mortal coil. Hey, Luca, back on Earth, we already worked on that. What do we say when we face a small hiccup in our everyday life? That we are a disgrace to the entire humankind? No. That our intellect is inadequate and our existence futile? I mean, Hurtur monkey brain can't even make sharp stick. I'm so tired of this. I'm sorry, I really needed to wallow in self-pity for a bit. Anyway, I had some cool ideas like a wrist-mounted crossbow, but I'm too poor to afford the materials and tools. Or a dagger with 2 barbs that open when pulled out, but this was too light and didn't penetrate far enough into the target. Though it did penetrate in my knee. After a lot of searching in my never-ending pile of junk, I came up with this. Unimpressive AF, but it works. Sometimes. First of all, it's heavy, it's sharp, it's mean, and it handles almost like a halfway tolerable throwing knife, so... Ho appena perso un pezzo. Okay, nothing serious, just a nail that came out, now we are back in business. What I was trying to say is that it handles like a normal knife, so it should be good enough for throwing. But how does knife throwing work in the first place? It was my phone. Welcome to the Broblord's Military Academia, the web series where a self-proclaimed and completely unqualified military instructor teaches you the ins and outs of the noble art of yeeting pointy objects at people. Please salute Lieutenant Gualtiero Pistacchio. Attention, Private, and my thanks to our Lord and Sovereign for the warm welcome. Now, without further ado, let's get down to killing stuff. While infiltrating deep into enemy's territory, you may find yourself unable to use your rifle, because you wasted all your bullets shooting at seagulls, or you used your barrel as an improvised reusable straw for your cappuccino. Well, that's a bummer, because there's still plenty of jackasses to murder. But we are lucky, as we still have a trusty dagger and everything we need to throw it. A functioning limb, a basic understanding of calculus, and at least 2 degrees in theoretical physics. First of all, take out from your backpack your favorite measuring devices and measure the exact distance between yourself and your target and the weight and dimensions of the knife of your choice. Then estimate its speed in the moment it leaves your hand, with an approximation error of less than 1%. Now it's time to grab the pencil and calculator provided in your survival kit. Write down the equations of motion, add a resistance, find the axis of rotation of the knife, and apply the laws of rigid body dynamics to calculate its inertia, trajectory, and the fractional number of rotation it will perform before reaching the target, all adjusted to your chosen frame of reference. At this point you will have a good understanding of how to grab and throw your blade in the most effective and lethal way, by making sure it always hits with the point. And that's all for this quick lesson. Now go and kill some Nazis! Okay, that was weird. I thought I was done with university nightmares. In any case, I am not personally very good at knife throwing, but once you get the hang of it, you can actually throw anything that is heavy and pointy, like a metal spike, a pair of scissors, or, I don't know, a screwdriver. Problem is, this knife is tied to a rope, so if we make it spin, it will get tangled. Luckily, here's where the Japanese come in handy, as they can teach us the no-flip throws used with the bow shuriken, the sad version of the cooler ninja style. So, all the physics mumbo-jumbo and black magic I showed before were utterly useless. Here's a coupon to ask for a refund of the minute I made you waste. Anyway, once we manage to get the point into the target, it's time for the juicy part! Whew. Where the juice is actually blood. I don't think you will see ads on this video. If you drive a normal blade into someone's chest and then pull, chances are you will just pull it out without dragging your victim closer. Trust me, I ran extensive testing on several different rib cages. We need something a bit more complex, but not too complex or it will break. 3 times in a single week. So I designed this stupidly simple mechanism. See these curved nails? They enter the target with the rest of the knife, but when you try to pull it out, whoops! They open and either get stuck or tear flesh apart. That's in theory. Will I fail catastrophically and make a fool out of myself? For 3 consecutive months we've been in the middle of the worst heatwave and drought to ever hit northern Italy, and everyone was like, "Oh no, my baby's going to die and turn into a dried up husk of a human youngling!" But I said, too bad, at least I can shoot this video outside, but guess what? No, it immediately started pouring! Why do the gods hate me so much? Oh well, at least I solved the climate crisis. Enough rambling, let's kill some stuff!
Round 1, fight!
Oops! I was trying to stop the box in place by putting some bottles of water in it to give it some mass, but clearly it didn't work, so let's try with a different solution.
Round 2. Fight!
Get over here! Why? Nice throw. Get over here! Get over here! Oh my god, it actually worked! Oh, I feel so cool! Get over here! Oh, now that's a lot of damage.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Finish him! Fatality!
Warner Bros, if you want a voice actor for the next Mortal Kombat, hit me up.
Test your might! Brutality!
And this is the lowest I can go!
Holy pepperoni, that was great! It worked occasionally, and I only slightly injured myself, so this is absolutely to be considered a flawless victory. If you want to see more, go check out the rest of the channel. There are several hours of content available that no sane person will ever dare to enjoy. Or just ignore me, but you would really hurt my feelings. Also, come follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I post something like once in a decade, but I want to be internet famous to give a sense of accomplishment to my existence, so pretty please? See you next time. Take care.